Hello dear students, welcome back to e-classes of Statistics Standard 11th. In this video, we are going to study sum number 6 from exercise 2.1 of your textbook. Let's read the question. Obtain an inclusive continuous frequency distribution from the following data. Now in this question you can see lower boundary point is given and cumulative frequency is given. You can see cumulative frequency starts with the greater number 500 and ends with the smaller number, that is 0. So this type of cumulative frequency, if it is given, it can be said that more than cumulative frequency is given. So, in this sum, you have to obtain an inclusive continuous frequency distribution. That means you have to find inclusive class. And if we see the class length, the difference between the adjoining lower boundary points, that is 54.5 minus 49.5, that gives you 5. So, the class length is 5 here. And for finding inclusive frequency distribution, the lower limit of initial class, that is 44.5. So whenever you have to find the inclusive continuous frequency distribution, you have to add 0.5 in the lower limit and you have to subtract 0.5 from the upper limit. That means 44.5 plus 0.5, that will give you 45, and 49.5 minus 5, that will give you 49. So the initial class will be 45 to 49, and then again this will be the lower class. So add 0.5, this will give you 50, and from 54.5 subtract 0.5, this will give you 54. So the next class will be 50 to 54. This way we are going to find out the inclusive class. First, let's solve the sum in the table manner. So let's start with the table. Here I'll write the lower boundary point from the question as it is 44.5, 49.5, 54.5, 59.5, 64.5, 69.5, 74.5, 79.5. Now, we will write here more than cumulative frequency from the question as it is 500, 470, 390, 290, 240, 90, 10 and 0. So, here I will write the class as I said you before, subtracting 0.5 from the upper limit and adding 0.5 to the lower limit. So the initial class will be 45 to 49. Next class will be 50 to 54. Then 55 to 59. Then 60 to 64. Then 65 to 69, then 70 to 74, 75 to 79, and the last class 80 to 84. What we have done, we have added 0.5 in lower boundary point and subtracted 0.5 from the upper limit. This way we have found all the classes. Now we have to find the frequency, and the formula to find the frequency is more than cumulative frequency of a class minus more than cumulative frequency of immediate following class. That means 500 minus 470. So I'll write it here, 500 minus 470, that is 30. Then 470 minus 390, that means cumulative frequency minus immediate cumulative frequency of next class. 470 minus 390, that is 80. Then it comes 390 minus 290, answer is 100. After that 290 minus 240, it is 50. 240 minus 90, that will give you 150. 90 minus 10, that will give you 80. 10 minus 0 is equals to 10, and the last 0. So the total frequency, if you add all these number, you will get 500. So here we have obtained the inclusive continuous frequency distribution and frequency. So we are done with the sum number 6. And now let's continue with the sum number 7. Let's read the question. Obtain an exclusive continuous frequency distribution from the following data. Here in the question you can see less than weight is given and cumulative frequency is given. Here the cumulative frequency starts with the smaller number and ends with the greater number. Such type of cumulative frequency is less than cumulative frequency. And if we want to know the class length, difference between two adjoining upper boundary points, that means 35 minus 30. 35 minus 30 is equals to 5. So the class length is 5. So all these are upper boundary points. If we want to know the lower boundary point of a class, how we will find it? Upper boundary point minus class length. So this is upper boundary point. All are the upper boundary points. Upper boundary point minus class length. What is class length? Class length is 5. That means 30 minus 5. The initial class will be 25. So the initial class will be from 25 to 30. In this manner, we will obtain class for each upper boundary point. Now let's solve the sum. We'll write first less than weight in kg in table. We'll start with 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65 and 70. Then we will write as it is cumulative frequency less than cumulative frequency column. 0, 17, 25, 40, 48, 54, 57, 59, 60. Now, as we have to obtain exclusive frequency, so here all upper boundary points are given, and to find the lower boundary point, we have to minus class length. Upper boundary point minus class length. So 30 minus 5. So the initial class will be 25 to 30. Then 35 minus 5. Next class will be 30 to 35. Then 40 minus 5, that will be 35. Next class will be 35 to 40. Then 40 to 45, 45 to 50, 50 to 55, 60, 55 to 60, then 60 to 65, and last 65 to 70. Now we have to find frequency, and the formula to find frequency is less than cumulative frequency minus less than cumulative frequency of preceding class. That means we'll start with 0, then 17 minus 0, 25 minus 17, 40 minus 25. This way we have to find the frequency less than cumulative frequency minus less than cumulative frequency of preceding class. So let's begin it. First we'll start with 0, then 17 minus 0, that gives you 17, then 25 minus 17, that gives you 8, then 40 minus 25, that gives you 15. Then 48 minus 40, that gives you 8. 54 minus 48, that gives you 6. After that 57 minus 54, that gives you 3. 59 minus 57 is 2. Last 60 minus 59, that gives you 1. So if you total it, the total frequency is 60. If you total all these numbers, the total frequency is 60. So in this way, we have obtained exclusive frequency and exclusive classes and frequency. In our next video, we are going to solve the other sums of exercise 2.1. Thank you.